Hey everyone! Today I want to show you how to make a Di-ch2lp cable. And in this video, the stitch pattern is going to build on the previous videos that I've already showed you, which were how to make a front post double crochet and a back post double crochet. So as you see, we still have the two chain 2 loops here, a post stitch, a chain 2 loop, a post stitch, and then 2 more chain 2 loops. So now we've already gotten rows 1 through 3 done, and that's just a simple working of chain 2 loops and front post and back post stitches. Now as you see, we're on row 4, and this is my right side facing, and we're going to make a cable stitch. So the first thing we're going to do is work a chain 2 loop in each of our first 2 chain 2 loops. Now what I really like about using these chain 2 loop stitches instead of plain single crochets or double crochets or half doubles is in a lot of patterns they'll tell you to leave, a certain stitch unworked, or leaving the single crochet behind it unworked, or the half double, or so on and so forth. And sometimes it's really difficult to figure out, well, is it this stitch, is it this stitch, is it that stitch? And when you use the chain 2 loops, it's pretty easy to tell where to skip because you can see the whole chain 2 loop stitch. And when you're working into a chain 2 loop, you're always working into the space, so you don't have to hunt for a stitch. So I feel like it makes it so much easier to work cables, especially if you're new to learning them. Alright, so we're going to start our cable, and we're right up to the point where we have the post stitch, which was the back post that we did on the previous row, a chain 2 loop, and a back post. Now the first thing I'm going to do is yarn over twice, because we're going to go into making a front post treble crochet. And a front post treble crochet is just like a front post, very similar to the front post double crochet, only we yarn over twice instead of just once. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to skip my first post stitch, and I'm going to skip the next chain 2 loop. And I'm going to insert my hook from front to back to front again around the next post stitch. Now again, because I'm right-handed, I'm going to insert my hook from right to left around the post stitch. And if you're left-handed, you're going to insert your hook from left to right. So let's go on and do that. We're going to grab our yarn and bring it up, and then we're going to take off 2 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And this is what we have so far. As you can see, this is the starting of a twining cable. Now working behind this post stitch that we just made, so it's real easy, we don't have to hunt for stitches. We're going to make a chain 2 loop in the skipped chain 2 loop. So what I kind of do is I just kind of bring this down a little bit, so because I want to work behind the stitch. Bring it down, and look at that, there's my skipped chain 2 loop. So put your hook in there and make another chain 2 loop like that. That's what that looks like so far. Now we want to finish this stitch. What we're going to do is work a front post treble crochet around the first skip post stitch, and that's going to cause them to overlap. So yarn over twice. Now the most important thing, this is where a lot of people get hung up. They're not sure of how to insert their hook around the post stitch. The big cardinal rule is, what you want to do is, if you're right-handed, always insert your hook from right to left around the post of the stitch, and insert it left to right if you're left-handed. So because I'm right-handed, I'm going to go from right to left. So just kind of pull everything down, kind of keep your tension loose, not too tight. And I'm going to go from right to left around the post. See, now I'm working over this post, I'm not working behind it. If you were working behind it, you'd have to lift up and get behind it, but we're not doing that. We're working over this post. So let's go around, grab the yarn, and pull it up. And then we're going to take off 2 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And here's what this looks like so far. Now we're going to do a chain 2 loop in each of our next 2 chain 2 loops. Whoops, almost lost my camera there. Like that. then chain 1 and turn. So we're going to get back to the other side. Okay. Now we know our first 2 stitches are chain 2 loops. Just go on and work a chain 2 loop in each of those first 2 chain 2 loops. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work a back post double crochet around each post stitch. And it might help while you're doing this to make sure you have some yarn that's free, because when you're in the middle of a stitch you don't want it to tighten up and then you have to put everything down. Now what I do is, because I know that there's a post stitch next, I kind of peek over to see where it's at. I see it right there. So I'm going to yarn over once, because this is for a back post, and I just kind of peek around and I insert my hook around the post of the stitch. And some people, if you're advanced, you might just know that it's right there and you know to grab it. But even as much as I'm advanced, I always have to peek. So just kind of go around, grab that yarn, and bring it up. Just like that. And take off 2, take off 2, and now it's a back post. Now we're going to work a chain 2 loop in our next chain 2 loop. Here's what it looks like so far. Now we have to work a back post around this next post stitch. Now yours might look like this and it might look kind of buried. And you're like, where is the back? Where's the post stitch that I'm supposed to work on? It's not this one. It's not down here, and it's not these. What I tend to do is I kind of pull things, pull them out, because you should see one coming up here and one coming out underneath here, and here's where it is. So you just want to make sure this little guy's pulled out. Alright, so wrap around, peek over, see, there it is. Grab your yarn and pull it up. And then we're going to take off 2 and take off 2. And that's what that looks like. Now we're going to chain 2 loop in each of our last 2 chain 2 loops. And again, this is why I love using these chain 2 loop stitches. I just find they're so much easier than using plain simple stitches. Okay, chain 1 and turn. Alright, it's starting to look like a cable. So again, we're just going to repeat what we did before on the right hand side on our row 4. So we're going to work our chain 2 loop in our first 2 stitches. Like that. And we're going to do our cable stitch. We're going to wrap around twice for front post treble. Skip the first post stitch, skip the next chain 2 loop. I'm inserting my hook right to left because I'm right-handed. Grab up, take off 2, take off 2, take off 2. Now working behind this post stitch just made, so I kind of pull it down a little bit, I'm going to make a chain 2 loop in my skipped chain 2 loop. Like that. Now working over this front post, remember if I was working behind I'd have to pull down behind, but because I'm working over I don't have to do that. We're going to run over twice and we're going to work a front post treble around that first skipped post stitch. Like that. See that? And it's because I'm right-handed, I inserted my hook from right to left around the post of that. So right to left. That, and then take off 2 3 times. Then we're going to do a chain 2 loop in each of our last 2 chain 2 loops. And you just continue repeating that. Work back posts and chain 2 loops when you're on the wrong side, and then work the cable stitch on the right side. Alright, I hope you like that. Let me know if you have any questions.